I have a special guest with us today to talk about disability inclusion. Her name is Lia Stoll, and I'm really glad she's with us today. Lia is a disability writer offering business and content writing services for businesses interested in creating a more inclusive workplace. She's based in Switzerland and calls herself the Unconventional Disability Content Writer, but that's not all. Lia is also the co-founder of Lara Guide Dogs, a nonprofit dog school for the blind in Athens, Greece. I'm so happy you're here with us this morning, Lia. How's it going over in Switzerland today?
Hi, Juana. It's nice to be here. It's good. It's chilly, and yeah, I'm excited and a little bit nervous.
Yeah. Is this the first time you've been on a live?
Yeah, it's the
I
second
LinkedIn?
time
Oh, yes. The first time was with who?
with Jamie Shields and Jody Greer.
Oh,
We had,
right.
yeah, though.
Yeah, okay. And Jamie was the host for that one, right? Or was it Jody?
I think that was Jody.
Oh,
I think,
okay.
I think that was Jody. Yeah.
And
I'm
how
sorry,
long
Jamie, if that was you.
maybe it was Jamie. I don't know because I vaguely remember that live, but I didn't see it
I
live.
I know we had
So.
that whole Powerpuff Girl going on. That was really cool. Brought back a lot of memories, and that was Jamie who initiated it. I
Oh,
think Jody was the host.
oh. That's funny. So, Leah, I wanted to ask you about you being on LinkedIn. You often start your posts with use disability inclusive soul, which I think is very positive and supportive. So, how do you see the response on LinkedIn to the need for disability inclusion?
I'm new to LinkedIn. I've been for 2 years. I mean, new, yeah. For me, it's new. 2 years doesn't seem like a very long time. So I don't really know how things were before that. Um, I can just speak for the amount of time I have been on LinkedIn. And to me, it's as if this bubbling feeling is all around, and people are very open to learn about disability and accessibility and being more inclusive. And I think that's great.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I have to agree with that, Leah. I talk about it a lot too, accessibility more than disability inclusion, but that kind of goes together, right?
I think so. I mean, for me personally, it's hand in hand. I feel one can't have one without having the other.
Yeah, definitely. So, how did you end up on LinkedIn? Did somebody invite you, or you just found out about it somehow online?
I found out about it online. I had work colleagues from the guide dog school in Switzerland who were online, and they invited me over.
That's good. I'm glad they did that because we need more voices like yours on LinkedIn, and
Oh,
that's
thank
really
you.
important. I feel like the more people join LinkedIn who are in the DEI, disability, accessibility communities are really needed on LinkedIn. So,
Mhm.
um, so tell me a little bit about your dog school for the blind. We were talking a little bit earlier about that
Yeah.
before we went live. And so, how did the whole idea of the dog school for the blind come up?
Well, it's been an idea that I've carried with me since I was very young. I was about 6, 7 years old when my father and I visited blind organization in Athens in Greece, and I was initially quite shocked because while I was waiting for a short while in a separate area from where my father was, I came across a certain part of the building. Um, where I saw blind children being attached to, I'm assuming they were beds. And I just know that I was quite shocked by that. I didn't quite understand what was going on. And I was quickly whisked away before I really realized what I was seeing. But later on, my father explained to me also. I remember the first time he explained it to me when I was a teenager, that especially at that time, families in Greece who also lived on the islands we were talking about before, didn't know what to do with their blind children. And so they would bring them to the organization and the children would stay there. And in order for the people who worked there, I think to have them under control might sound a bit harsh, but in the end, I think it is that they needed to securely attach them somewhere. And that's what I saw when I was young. And yeah, that stayed with me, that memory. And the guide dog school, I tried with my father several times to start a guide dog school in Greece. 1983 was the first time he attempted. And then in 1992, we tried again. And it wasn't really working out each time. The culture was not ready in Greece. We faced a lot of barriers that thankfully don't exist anymore today, and others that still do. So yeah, and I graduated and left and wanted to continue this. So I reached out to the International Guide Dog Federation at the time, who was supporting me and my father in our efforts. I asked if I could come to a guide dog school and complete an apprenticeship. And they offered me a position. Initially, I asked to go to England, Australia, or Canada, anywhere that they speak English.
Oh, yeah.
But at the time, there was no availability, so I was asked if I wanted to go to Switzerland. I remember thinking, okay, that's not so far away from home, I can do that. Yeah. And I completed the apprenticeship, and the guide dog school in Switzerland helped me start up the nonprofit guide dog organization in Greece. And that's how, things rolled off from there.
Wow, sounds like that memory when you were young really had a great impact on you. I can imagine how that must have felt for you at the time, like very confusing and unpleasant
Yeah.
to witness. I'm hoping things are a lot better there now than back when you were.
They're better. That doesn't exist. It doesn't exist to that extent. It doesn't. But there are still places where, where blind children and children with neurological disorders, that when families feel they cannot cope, this is where they bring them. And I find that so sad.
Yeah, that is really sad. And I know that there's a lot of problems like that still exist in Eastern Europe a lot, quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear about Western countries adopting children from there also. So that's a real problem in Eastern Europe. So
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you have something like that to help people that really need it. A dog school for the blind, and service dogs are always needed now more than ever for people who have any kind of anxiety, whether they're on the autism spectrum, whether
Yeah.
there's so many different things that you can have a service dog for. So that's really, and deaf people also use service
Exactly.
dogs.
Yeah. Hearing aid dog. At the moment, there's a real demand for it, even in Greece. We see it. I mean, our role together with the European Guide Dog Federation is reaching out to other organizations that have service dogs, and we're actually working together to create apprenticeship models for people to get trained in order to be able to train service dogs, different kinds. And I think this is definitely something that has a great impact on someone who needs a companion dog, a hearing aid dog, a guide dog, who wants it. It's a great opportunity for
Yeah,
independence. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And it's great to have a dog too. I mean, are they able to switch on and off from when they're working to when they can just be a playmate with
Oh
their
yeah.
own?
Yeah, sure, sure. Especially, most service dogs have a harness, a special harness that they wear. And so they know that when they're wearing this harness, they're working. And when they're not wearing it, then they're free to, yeah, to be your usual playful, happy dog that can run around and take your shoes and hide them away.
Yeah, dogs love shoes. Something about shoes they love.
There's something about shoes.
Yeah, yeah. So, Leah, I wanted to know what encouraged you to start working in disability inclusion.
Um, well, this started with the guide dogs and the guide dog school. It was sort of an extension to the work that we are doing at the moment in Greece, and it felt really natural. I have to admit, when I first started it, it was not um, with the purpose of, yes, I'm going to create a business, and I'm going to call it Disability Writer, and it's something that just developed over time, through the stories that I had recorded from our guide dog teams. Many of them wanted to share their stories, their travels with their guide dogs, the troubles, the problems that they faced, access being a really big one. So being able to access public transport with their dogs, or going to a restaurant, airports and flights, that is still a big problem for us today. And it just really evolved from there. Slowly, other guide dog schools started asking me if I could write for them, and wanted to pay me. um, yeah, so that's
Wonderful.
how.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's wonderful when a company wants to pay you for your writing. That first time that you get that check is such a great feeling. You feel like
Yes.
you're on the right path.
Exactly,
You're,
exactly.
uh,
Especially because I I guess I need to call it, I donate, or I give, but a part of my money goes to our guide dog school. I've been supporting it since
yeah,
the day we started it.
um,
So it's a plus for everyone. Also for me, for myself personally, but also for the guide dog school. And yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's like the guide dog grows the baby, really, and then
Yes.
the
Yeah.
disability writing is an extension of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're three co-founders that started this in 2008 officially. That's when we
Oh, okay.
signed the papers, and we became a nonprofit. Um, and we've always felt that the guide dog school was the first baby.
Right. That's great. So, what is the story behind the Unconventional disability content writer, Lia?
Um, this is interesting because I think mainly whenever I would go online searching for something to learn more about a specific problem that I had, or I wanted to learn more, for example, accessibility, web accessibility being one of them, definitely. I always came across articles that were very long and very tiresome to read. And
Yeah,
I
can be.
love reading, but I'm not the type of person to, click on an article and then read it like I'm reading my book before I go to bed at night, for example. I need it to be a bit upbeat, a bit quick. I want to be able to skim read it quite quickly and still be able to learn something. That was the main thing. And then I realized, wow, why is everything so heavy and boring and also difficult to understand? I'm not a techie. I don't know what you're saying. Could someone repeat this, please? Or if one goes to websites of I don't know, of also of business websites that want to do a lot to explain something to you. You get this long text all stuck together, and it just goes on and on and on forever. And I
Yeah,
thought, well, there has to be a different way. And I came across 3 blog writers because I looked into that a bit more. How to write a blog that's not boring. And I found them and I came in contact with them, and they started giving me tips. And then I took some courses that they offered. And yes, some were free, because that's the amazing gift I feel of technology and of the internet. People out there offering their knowledge to make the lives of other people better. And it doesn't necessarily come with a dollar sign attached to it. I'm not saying that we're not supposed to be getting paid for, offering a service, but yeah, this is something different that is vital. There's so much lack of education, like we were talking about, in developing countries, that I feel this is a brilliant thing.
yeah,
So back to what I was saying. Sorry, I got sidetracked there. Yeah, I learned as much as I could, and I thought, I don't want to write boring posts. I'm going to do my best to write posts that are fun and easy to read and understand. That's what
yeah.
happened.
That's a wonderful goal to have for any blog. But yeah, there's a certain format and layout that blogs should be.
Mm-hmm.
There's a certain format that you should follow for a blog post. So ZJ says hello, good morning to you, ZJ. And ZJ is having her live show podcast launch later today, so I'm looking forward to that. And then someone says, I don't know who this is. This is the perfect case for smaller chunks of information and content. I tell my clients this all the time when they post with 2,000 to 3,000 word blogs and articles on topics. I'd love to know who you are, so if you can say your name in the chat, that would be helpful, and then we can know who you are and say hi appropriately. But yes, this is very true. All blog posts should have a format. You have your title, you have your heading structures, you have
Yeah.
your headings,
Mm-hmm.
all things like that. And this is information that's very easy to find online, how to write a blog. There's so much information online about how to do that. So I
Yeah.
feel like there's no excuse to just write your blog and then post it and not add headings or subheadings or
Exactly. Yeah.
paragraphs.
Mhm.
So just let us know who you are. So so it sounds like so are you still in contact with these three people that you mentioned that helped guide you along in blog
Yes.
writing? Yeah,
Yes. Mhm.
yeah, that's wonderful. So Leah wants to ask you an important question. Why do you think disability inclusion is so important? And what are some tips you can share with those of us who are not familiar with being more inclusive? How can they incorporate this into their daily life?
Mhm. Um, why is it so important? It's when asked like that, it's sort of a difficult question, but whenever I replay the memory I had when I was young, the answer is quite obvious. Ch- yeah, for me, children should not have to endure something like that because of a disability. And I think Jamie Shields says it brilliantly when he says, "I'm disabled by society." And this is why I think it's important. Um, it actually frustrates me quite a lot that I have to say this because
Oh, yeah.
having to pick up phone calls at 10, 11 o'clock at night from clients telling me the taxi driver will not let me and my guide dog enter the taxi, or the bus driver just ran past me and did not stop to pick me up because I have a dog. These are infuriating examples where I think, well, this can't be happening. This shouldn't be happening. So this is why I think it is important. Um, and what people could do, um, everybody needs to do what they feel comfortable doing. That's the main thing. But I think, especially for people who have families, I feel it's important to reach out and talk to your children about it. That we talk to our children about disability, about what it means, what it is, and familiarize them with it. I try to reach out also to local schools here in our area. My son is actually at the moment, he's in the 4th grade, and they are covering the anatomy of the body, and they've incorporated the 5 senses, and how if something is not working, how this connects to the disabilities that we have. And he came home really proud with this piece of paper with German Sign Language. And he was signing his name and saying hello. And we were trying to do it all together as a family. So for me, this is something so good, from such a young age, they're able to connect with it and feel good about it and feel familiar with it. So not be afraid of it, and not be put off by it either. And I think this is something that everyone can do, everyone, especially who has children. Other things would be reach out to your community. Organizations that support people with disabilities, and ask if they need any help or what you could do to help out. We have in Greece a lot of volunteers. I recently made a count as best as I could. We've got over 1,500 people who have been supporting us, doing odd things on and off. So these are people like you and me. Whether it be baking cookies and bringing them together, giving them out in school, and talking about disability, or our own guide dog clients being able to do that. So
Wow.
That's definitely something that many people have access to. Um, yeah, those are two things I can think of that
Yeah, I think those
are
are
easy.
excellent examples. Yeah, I think those are excellent examples. Start young if you have children. I mean, even as an adult, you can learn more about disabilities and how
Mhm.
you can help and be supportive. But
Yeah,
also, it really starts when you're young too. Being accepting of people who are different from you. They may have different needs from you, and but really, at the root of it, everybody wants to feel included as being a part of the community. So,
exactly. And we don't need to know everything um, in order to go and help. This is often one of the comments we get from our volunteers, where they'll reach out and ask how they can help, and then they'll say, I don't really know a lot about this, I don't know very much about uh, blind people or guide dogs for that matter. But the fact that they they're reaching out is actually the most important thing, because everyone's open to learning. And yeah, that's something that comes second, I always say.
yeah, yeah, you can always learn as you go. Once you having the experience of volunteering,
Mhm.
they learn on the job, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think that I just love that answer, Leah, and that's so true. So, so, Leah, we were talking earlier about the guide school and what's going on now at the guide school. Are you going to start a certain page? How can we support you and your guide dog school?
Yes. We are having a tiny financial crisis at the moment, with everything that's been going on the last couple of years. I think it's really taken its toll right now. Um, and I am working on creating a GoFundMe page in order to support our next two guide dog puppies that are in their puppy walking stage. They'll be going in the next within 6 months. They'll be moving into their training as guide dogs, and we need to support that financially, and we don't know if we will have the funds to do that. So yeah, a GoFundMe page will be coming up in the next in the
Yeah,
next 6 weeks.
I'll
Um,
be looking forward to that. I
you,
understand that it's really tough to keep a nonprofit going,
mhm.
especially it's a highly specialized type of nonprofit that you have. I mean, just off topic a little bit, but we have so
Yeah,
many animal rescues in the state alone. We have so
yeah,
many animal rescues for different specific dog breeds, and they're always seeking funding all the time. I mean, in this one state of New Mexico, we have,
hmm,
I mean, there's this one animal rescue, and I know her personally. She, there's a high kill shelter like an hour, 3 hours from here. And she's always going over there and rescuing the animals from that one particular shelter. And so, yeah, they're always looking for funds and just to keep going. And no, I have to applaud them. I don't know how they keep going because it's incredibly stressful, exhausting, and but then all you can think of is the animals. You know,
yeah,
you
yeah.
can't you can't save every animal, but you try. So
Exactly. I think it's the effort in the end that counts, and I would much rather know that I'm trying the best that I can and I don't succeed,
yeah,
than thinking I'll just turn my back because I won't succeed. Yeah, the effort is worth it.
yeah. Yeah, and these people, I mean, animals are the world, you know. So I applaud them for the effort, for everything. But at one point, we got a little cat from this animal rescue. I mean, this was a wild cat, okay? She was a little kitten, and she was just flying all over the house. Our dogs didn't like her. My one little dog did not like her at all. And she was just sticking up all of the house plants, getting into all the nooks and crannies of the house, and we couldn't find her. And I said, no,
The curtains.
we have shades, so we don't have curtains. But yeah, we have some curtains. We got in curtains. She was just everywhere. But we couldn't keep her because the dogs didn't like her. So
Mhm.
to us, the dogs come first. But she
Yeah.
found a great home with an older couple, and they just love her. They love her to bits. So she found a good home. So we were happy about that. So I realized that we talked a lot about animals this morning, Leah, which I'm more than happy to talk about because I love
We
dogs.
love them. We love them.
Yeah, we do. We do. So, so you'll be starting a GoFundMe page for your nonprofit, Guys School for the Blind, and you're
Yeah.
going to be posting about it in the next couple of weeks.
Exactly.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I'll try to share that once I get that information. And everyone who's watching, you can find all of Leah's information in the post below with her website. So if you want to get in touch with her, you can DM her and visit her website as well. And also, did I include a link for your Guide School for the Blind? I believe
You
I
did.
it's
You
in
did.
Greek only.
It
So
yes, it's in Greek. That's been another issue that we've been facing. We didn't want to just have your typical translation from Greek to English, and we've had a company support us on that, and they changed a few things and then left, sort of. So some of the translation was not working properly because we also what do we call this? We updated our website. We changed it. New guidelines, accessibility guidelines, and so some things are not working. And so the English, the English site is down.
yeah.
But I'm happy to translate for you, and I'm working on that. I'm working on that.
Okay. Wonderful, wonderful. Um, I'd like to know when the site comes up in English because I was looking at the Greek and I said, oh, I wish I knew,
Oh,
but I don't. Darn. But anyway,
I'll
so
let you know.
yeah, yeah. So anyway, Leah, it was so great to talk to you this morning, and I hope our audience learns a few things from you about
It
Guide
was really
Dogs
nice
for the
to meet
Blind
you.
and Disability Inclusion. And thank you, everyone, for joining us this morning. Next week, I'll be having another disability inclusion guest as well. Her name is Allie, and she'll be joining me next week, same day, same time. So I hope you join me then. In the meantime, have a great day, and I will see you next week. And thank you, Leah, for joining me this morning.
Thank you for having me.
You're
It was
welcome.
fun.
Okay. Have a great day, everybody.